What is IRS tax relief? IRS tax relief is a set of laws and procedures that fixes your tax problems and gets you back in tax compliance with the IRS. In other words, you have to do whatever it takes to get you back in the good graces of the IRS. That is the approach that we take on with all of our clients when somebody has tax problems. If you have not filed your tax returns, that means that there's no statute against you. So the first thing is to do is to get you into tax filing compliance. Other thing is, if you have an IRS tax balance due, it could lead to all kinds of other sort of problems. Bank levies, IRS wage garnishments, federal tax liens being filed against you. And that leads to other problems. You can't rent an apartment, can't buy a house, so on and so forth. My name is Sergio Melendez. I am the lead power of attorney here with Semper Tax Relief. I have many years experience and I have resolved millions of dollars on behalf of my clients. We could definitely fix your tax problem. So in regards to fixing somebody's tax problems, we probably need a very first step. Similar to the way if you have medical issues, you kind of feel like, hey, you know, my arm hurts, I was working out, something happened. You go to the doctor. The doctor's probably gonna take either an MRI, CAT scan, CT scan, X-ray, one of those items. And here, we're medics. I'm a Juris Doctorate for tax problems. So my X-ray, my CT scan, my MRI is called a federal compliance check. With a compliance check, I get a breakdown year by year of balances due, balances owed, years of unfiled taxes, all in one snapshot. And at the same time, I get the one key piece of information that's regarding when somebody owes money to the IRS, and I get the collection statute date from the IRS. So when somebody has years of unfiled taxes, we go back and we make sure that we file all the tax years that needed to be filed to get somebody into tax filing compliance. The next step is, if somebody keeps filing and owing money to the IRS, we want to make sure that that's corrected. For those that are self-employed, they got to make quarterly estimated tax payments or ES payments. That way it's in the books in the bank with the IRS when they file the taxes next year. And if you're a W-2 wage earner, meaning you clock in, you clock out, you get a pay stub, you got to adjust your W-4 withholding at work. That way the W-4 withholding, they'll be taking out more per paycheck, and that way you'll have enough with the IRS next year when you file your income tax returns. That way you break the cycle of filing and owing money. Instead, you're gonna be filing and there's gonna be enough in the bank where you're gonna pay off the difference between the April 15th deadline, or you may start generating a refund back. I need a favor from you, huge favor. Click like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Now to take on the balance due, the actual balance due with the IRS. Here's where we take a look at probably somebody's overall situation, overall meaning the very big picture. This is sometimes key in case somebody gets divorced. Out of the divorce, it's really unfair. We want to evaluate for maybe the innocent spouse relief first. But for the most part, it's all about your current finances. If your current finances show that you're completely insolvent, meaning you're completely upside down, meaning if the IRS shook you upside down by your ankles and they could squeeze out every penny and it wouldn't be much, then you probably qualify for some sort of financial hardship program. And there are 3 top IRS tax relief financial hardship programs. The first one is called the Offer and Compromise Program, meaning you offer the IRS an amount, they could forgive the rest of the balances due, and you only pay what you offer the IRS. The second one is financial hardship, currently non-collectible status, and pictures like a payment plan with the IRS, except it's for $0 per month. The third is called the partial payment installment agreement, meaning that you only pay the IRS whatever you could afford. Example, let's say you owe the IRS $1 million and you could only afford to pay them $50 a month. The IRS accepts the $50 a month. One major key that revolves around those 3 hardship programs is the 10-year statute date. All depending on the 10-year statute date, it all depends on which program might be best for you. For example, if the statute date is only 6 months around the corner, meaning the IRS will write off the balances, maybe the non-collectible status might be better than the Offer and Compromise program, because the Offer and Compromise program is an extremely lengthy program that could extend the time frame for the statute date, versus the non-collectible status will not. Sometimes your finances show that you have the capability to make repayments to the IRS. If so, if the balances are under certain amounts, the IRS has different tiers for installment payment or repayments with the IRS. And some of the repayment programs fall under the categories of the Fresh Start installment agreements, where the IRS will not take further actions, they will not file federal tax liens, they won't even look at your finances so long as you make the request and the balances are under a certain threshold. If the amount is under $25,000, the IRS would take a 72-month repayment plan, and it could be done by mail, meaning you could make your own manual payments. You're not under any other conditions. You choose the payment date between the 1st and the 28th. If you owe over $25,000 but under $50,000, the IRS now requires almost the same thing as the under $25,000, which is a repayment within 72 months. You choose a date, except now that it needs to be direct debit from a checking account. And under these conditions, there are going to be no federal tax liens filed. But if your balances due are aggregate over $50,000, the IRS then, even if you request a payment plan, they will file federal tax liens against you. Now, federal tax liens can be appealed if you do not agree with the collections tactic. And there are times where you are able to remove the federal tax liens. You can get a withdrawal if sometimes it might affect your type of work that you're in. A lot of financial professionals require this, where the employer does a background check that includes credit reports. If the federal tax lien pops up, they may lose their income. If they lose their income, then not only can somebody not repay the taxes, they cannot go on and live regular life and pay their regular household bills. Now, keep in mind, with IRS tax relief, a lot of the times when we make a request like offering compromise program, hardship payment plans, the IRS might come back and they might reject our proposals. That's very common. If the IRS happens to reject a proposal, we always have the right to appeal. We have the right to appeal a decision. And if so, we must submit our timely response to appeal, and we must submit that back to the IRS, whoever took that decision. And the very next steps that the IRS does is the IRS actually forwards our appeal package to the Independent Office of Appeals. In the Independent Office of Appeals, the IRS, what they do is they assign what's known as appeals officer or a settlement officer, who's more of a semi-retired, highly experienced IRS personnel. I shouldn't say semi-retired because they're not. I just say that because they've had so many years of experience, and they normally come from the collections department. They come from the departments and they get promoted to the Office of Appeals, and they have the right to override a decision made by the IRS based upon the additional substantiation, the additional information that we have provided on behalf of our clients, or if you're handling the case yourself, something that you have submitted in addition when the IRS has made their decision. Something that's affecting a lot of Americans today is the rise of identity theft. With identity theft, you could be a victim of fraud of many different aspects. One of the aspects is somebody filed a tax return for you, except it wasn't you. They used a different address, a different bank account, they got a refund, something like that happened. The point is you didn't file. To combat this, you might file for identity theft PIN, where nobody could electronically file a tax return without that PIN. Now, this PIN gets issued every single year and the IRS mails it out for you. Another way you're a victim of ID theft is that somebody worked under your name, your social security number, except it was for some employer out there that you never heard of. That means you had additional income and you might have to be stuck with a different procedure such as a CP 2000 based upon income that you did not earn. So then you have to file with police reports, submit the affidavit, and deal with that procedure. And this last one sucks for ID theft. That means you thought that you went somewhere to file your tax return, but it turns out that that professional wasn't so professional and did some fraudulent items with all of your information. Sometimes the scammers, what they do is they file your tax return. They put so much in credits that they tell you you might be getting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 back. In reality, they're getting $24,000 back. That tax preparer is keeping $20,000 and only giving you $4,000. You're a victim of ID theft. Now, the way you fix this is you definitely have to go the ID theft route with the IRS. Let them know that you're a victim of identity theft. So that's a different route that we sometimes take on with certain clients based upon their overall situation. So when it comes to tax relief, you definitely want to figure out what's the best possible way to fix your tax problem based upon your overall circumstances. There's not one particular thing that we do on behalf of our clients. We probably do multiple different steps, multiple different items, and we have to contact the multiple different departments of the IRS in order to fix somebody's tax problems. We always offer a free case review if you want us to review your situation and see what's the best possible way that we could fix your tax problem. So don't hesitate, reach out. We're more than happy to schedule that free case review with you. If you like this video, click like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We definitely got more tax relief tips coming your way.